Yo, it's your girl Victoria Rosa coming in hot with the Hot Mic series. I got Big CEO. You want to tell them who you are?
What's happening? It's Truth. Truth is the label. I Say Podcast Network.
Yes. So look, I want to get into it. I want to take it back a little bit. You was in a rap group, right?
Mm-hmm.
What was the name of your rap group?
Dirty Coalition.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So I got my hands on the first album you ever put out, if y'all can see that.
Yeah.
It's called Grits.
Yep.
Can you tell us the meaning behind that?
Getting rich in the South.
Ooh.
Yeah. That was a great time. Yeah, it was a real great time.
So how did y'all, the group thing, how did y'all get started?
It was me and my partner that I came up with, Surf. Shout out Surf. We started basically off of some unmentionable things we was doing. The Dirty stood for Distributed Right to You. So that's what we came up with, the Dirty part. So it was Dirty Coalition because it was us, me, him, some other people, and we added our young homie and Beatty. We added him to it after we all started doing music together. Okay.
Yeah. And this album was actually hosted by DJ Speedy. Yep. At the time, that was Jeezy DJ?
Yeah, nah, he wasn't Jeezy DJ. If you remember that song Jeezy came out with, damn, I forgot the name of the song, but at the beginning he said, Speedy, you a fool for this one.
Yeah.
And that was him and my mans that we were signed to at the time, living with in Atlanta. Shout out Tiger. He had set it up, lined it up where he got Speedy to host the tape.
Oh, that's amazing. Amazing. So what happened with the group? Why did y'all break up? Why did y'all separate?
To this day, it ain't like we broke up. Like them still my brothers, they my people. But when you doing music, your creativity takes you different spaces sometimes, which is okay. You don't always have to be in it with the people you came in it with, as far as like performing and creating. But our styles just kind of went different places.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know in the beginning you were trying to fit the stereotype with your rapping, with the basic, can I say, nursery flows. What made you switch up your flow? What made you get into this intellect that you be spitting now?
Well, I was always like, it ain't trying to toot my own horn, but I was always very, very smart. Like even in school, the teachers, I just, would stay in trouble sometimes. But the teachers would talk to my parents about, y'all need to get him into law school or something, just because of the way he can speak for himself, represent himself, speak for others. And so when I came into music, like even in normal conversations I would have, people would say like, you talking over their head, dumb it down. But it just seemed like normal conversation to me. So when I came into music at that time, like 3-6 Mafia, I was really into them, UGK. So that's how I tried to model my flow. And then it was more so what we had going on at the time in the streets. So I just felt like it was best to just dumb it down.
Yeah. But you listen, lyrically you are one of the hottest MCs that I heard, and that goes beyond what you call them, professional artists. Is that what we call them?
Yeah.
And like, Truth is that name fits you perfectly.
Appreciate
lyrically
it.
But how did you come up with that name?
So when the label we was signed to in Atlanta was called TRT. TRT Entertainment. So it was The Real Truth Entertainment. That's what it stood for. And so all of us had our names. We had Surf, we had Beatty, we had me. And so every time we introduced ourselves, it was, yo, this is The Real Truth. Surf The Real Truth. You know what I'm saying? And so at that time, like, everybody was like, yo, you gotta get an email account. And so we could start sending music and stuff back together. And Beatty, he was always like ahead with the technology, so he had a beta Gmail account. And he was like, you gotta get a Gmail. So I got the Gmail, and I just used that as my Gmail name, IStheRealTruth@gmail.com. And I just started rolling with it.
It's the real truth.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Now, I have personally been in the studio with you record, and you come up with such clever punchlines within seconds. How you do that? Like, how you do that? How it just come just straight out there?
The punchline sometimes, and I'm gonna be honest, like I'll say a punchline and I don't even really get that it's a punchline, so I might go back and listen to it. But just with doing music in general, one of the things that I never understood how people would say they got writer's block, because to me, if you've lived life and you've experienced enough, I don't understand why you don't have anything to talk about.
But coming in with it the way you stack it up, that's when people say writer's block. They can write about something, but making it interesting for other people to hear within that small amount of time. Like,
yeah, I always had a passion too for writing. Language arts. When I was in school, that was really the only class like I really paid attention in. I always enjoyed writing, so yeah. I guess it may go back to that. I don't know. But it's not anything I put a lot of thought to.
You have a crazy work ethic. Over the last 4 years, you don't put out 30 albums, over 30 albums. Do you know anybody that can match the way you work?
Yeah, the people who I was when we had Dirty Coalition, that's all we used to do. Everybody else would be going to the club, going to parties. We locked ourselves in the studio. I mean, and to get to that work ethic, they pushed me there because I got left off a lot of songs because I couldn't keep up with them. And I'd still be writing and they just be dropping song after song after song. And they like, okay, we gonna leave you a verse. But then it got to, well, I might be 10, 12 songs behind.
Yeah.
So I can't catch up. So I had to learn how, like, stop trying to perfect everything. When you feel it, just go. And if the beat don't make you go, that's not the one. Keep it moving.
Keep it moving.
Yeah.
So you, how do you, because you got a lot. You the CEO of a record label. You have your own podcast network. How do you manage your personal life and intertwine it with working life and this side too? Well,
I got a 9 to 5, and I look at my 9 to 5 as my investor to fund what I got going on with this. But to be honest, I don't look at this as work. And then when you surround yourself with the people that I have around, like, I don't look at it as like I'm with coworkers. It just feel like you with family. So when you doing that, I mean, to me it's having fun, so it's easy to balance. Yeah. Like it's not a job. Like the 9 to 5, that's the job, that's the work. But after this, it's like, this is my recreation. This is what I enjoy. So I don't even look. It's easy to manage. Yeah.
Yeah. So you met your business partner around 2010.
Yeah.
With the gym complex.
Yep.
And how did you guys get intertwined?
I let this lady I knew, like, again, back to the 9 to 5. She told me, she was like, yeah, this guy, he started here, and she was like, I really think like you and him would kick it off. And I was like, okay. And I just happened to walk through one day and I saw him. I was like, what's up, man? And he spoke back, and I could just tell like he was somebody who was gonna be cool. And we had went to lunch together one day, and we were just talking about music. I had no idea he did music to the level that he did it, and he didn't know I did it to the level I did it. And once we saw that's what it was, we just locked in and started doing music, and the rest history.
Yeah. So 2020, you started your own record label, which we do have Juice in the background, and
for
me
sure.
myself.
Yeah.
So what moment or what dinged in your head like, look, I'm just gonna start my own record label?
The thing about the label, it wasn't that I just wanted to say, cause I didn't want to be that person who said I want to start a label just cause I want to say I got a label. Literally, I'm so passionate about music. When I find someone who I feel like fits the mold of what I envision music as, I want to grasp onto that.
Yeah.
Like, I want to hold on to that, and I want to work with that, and I want to help them reach their fullest potential, because music is so saturated now. Like, it's like a breath of fresh air when I became in contact with you and Juice. You know what I'm saying? And that's just what it is. And even the people that, you know, we're adding to the fold now, like the producers that we're adding, you know, Shaq, and that's how it was too when I met Merv. Like, boy, because I never thought I would find anybody who had a work ethic like me after I left my group.
Yeah.
You know, I never thought I'd find it again. And so when you find stuff like that, it's refreshing. And then too, when I started, I'm like, a label getting in my mind, like, okay, a label means you might have 7, 8, 9 acts. And I had consultations with people, but I knew I would be doing them a disservice if I allowed them to be a part of what we had going on when I didn't believe in their talent.
Yeah.
I didn't just want to have a number around. I wasn't a fan of their talent.
Are you thinking about expanding?
It's got to be something that knocked my socks off. Yeah, it's that, and that's real. Like, it's got to be something, because y'all two the measuring stick.
Yeah.
You know, and if I don't feel like, you know, it's even close, or, you know what I mean, like, I can't. I wouldn't be interested.
So you're not the typical CEO of, like, the majority of record labels giving out chains and making the artists sign contracts. Why you don't do contracts? I don't want to force anybody to be a part of what I got going on. I want you to be a part of what I got going on because of my character. So if you respect somebody's character, you go do good business by them regardless, you know? And yeah, business is business, and I get it. Sometimes in business, you have to do business with people when it's business related. But like I said earlier, like, I feel like this is family. So I don't feel like, you know, I have to be looking over my shoulder or worried about, oh, you know, they go stiff me at the end, or, you know, I don't feel like none of that, because I feel like y'all know my character and I know y'all's character. If there's anything that's wrong, we talk it out and we make any adjustments we got to make. Right. So 2020, you also started I Say Podcast Network as well. And before that, you were doing a podcast with your DJ Rain?
Yeah. Shout out Rain.
So when you put together the network, what made you want to do that as well?
I'm a huge fan of podcasts. I listen to podcasts more than I watch TV. And I love podcasts. And I had a vision again of being able to drive something that I was passionate about, and I felt that other people had expressed to me that they were passionate about. Like, let's all do it together under one umbrella, and that's where the vision came from, to do it. The
podcast.
Yeah.
So you did have how many people you had up under the I Say Podcast Network?
5 or 6.
So how many you got now?
3.
I want you to give me a little insight of what happened with that.
It kind of goes back to what I was saying about the music. You know, sometimes your creativity take you different areas. Sometimes your passion doesn't line up, and that's fine. You know what I mean? But I'm at a stage in my life where I know what I want to do. I know what I'm capable of doing, and I know what the people that I surround myself with are capable of. And you know, I'm not gonna settle for less for that. You know, I'm just not. So
what lesson did you learn from having that many people under the network to now having what we call as a family?
The biggest lesson I learned, I got trust issues. So I don't trust people. So going into that industry, I had to really learn to trust.
Yeah.
But I think that I would look at it more from an aspect of not just looking about, because people say it's strength in numbers, right? But not just looking at the numbers, but focusing on that strength part. The strength part of it being, okay, yeah, you got strengths, but it goes back to, even if you got physical strength, you got to keep exercising to build that strength. If you're not willing to exercise and put the work in, the strength ain't gonna keep getting stronger. So that's one of the biggest lessons I learned. Really evaluate who's willing to put work in. I also learned lessons on being strategic about when to spend money. Like, when does it make sense to spend money? Looking at return on investments, making sure that, you know, it's for the long term and not just the short term. So it was a lot of good takeaways that I got from it. So yeah.
What was some of the regrets?
I would say that I kind of stretched out a little bit from the people I started with. You know what I'm saying? Like I should have built up more with the people I started with instead of adding more people to the fold. And I did say that I would never do like long distance again. But shout out my man Hype out of Philly. I had to. He changed my mind on it. Like, he all the way in Philly. He part of the I Say Podcast Network. But yeah, that would be one of my things that I would say my regrets was really not building the foundation that started first before adding other people to the fold.
So let's go back to the labor part, because you are an artist. What would you consider a perfect artist?
You never gonna have a perfect artist. My favorite artist is an artist that can storytell, they're passionate about what they do, and they not trying to sound like everybody else. And and one of the biggest things I had to learn too, like, I can't look and expect everybody to work the way I work, you know, because I could just stay in the studio all day. I'm cool. Like, I don't have to have nothing else to do. I just love that. I could sit there, listen to beats, and write all day. But I realize everybody has their own process. Yeah. So, but as far as a perfect artist, I don't think there's no such thing I think of. But again, that creativity, that passion, and you could tell if somebody passionate about what they're doing. It's easy to tell anything, you know. So yeah.
So you got a new project getting ready to drop. You want to tell us about it?
Yeah, it's called Omega. It's basically the end is what Omega really signifies. And it's not the end of doing music, but I want to take it from an aspect of it's the end of people wanting to hear the same concept all the time, the same massive destruction, selling drugs, all of that. Just something different. It's not the same, and it started off as just me doing a collaboration with Shaq. We was just doing a song, and it turned into a whole project. And it's dope. It's super dope. And I'm not saying it because we made it, but it's dope. It's got different. I'm not really gonna say it's a different sound for me, but it's really like Shaq influenced me to tap into my pen game, and that's what I had been looking for too for a while. Like, I tell people when I get on songs like you, Shaq, Juice, y'all make me tap into my pen game, because usually if somebody asks me for a feature or the collab, it'll come out hard, but I don't try. I just do that shit. Yeah. But when I'm doing something with y'all, I really think, like, I gotta get some shit. Let's go. Because I know y'all coming with some shit. So, yeah. Yeah.
And then we just dropped the album.
Yeah.
What's your favorite song on that one?
Boy, it changed, like, all the time. Like, Dior was it for a minute. And then I was on Jodeci for a while. And then I was on that, what is the name of the song that Juice did the hook on? I don't remember the name.
Last one. No,
last one. That's not last one. That's the one Shaq was on. You got it.
You got it. Yeah.
You got it. So, but I like that whole project. Like, I just let it play. So, yeah.
That was exciting doing too. You don't want to tell us something that you have in store? Because on your podcast, Stand On It, because you personally do one, which I love. You want to give them a little what that's based on?
When I say stand on it, I feel like we've gotten as a society and a culture to where people will say things and then they'll hide behind whether it be politics, race, gender. And it kind of used to be like something my dad would say when I was coming up, like people will throw the rock and hide their hand. And it just means like, yeah, they'll do it, but they don't want to see that they the one who threw the rock. And I think we missing that. We need more of that to where it's like, yeah, I said this and I stand on it, you know, because there's so much that's happening in society that people know are not right. But to push the agenda, they'll just let it slide. Or if they speak on it, they'll speak on it from a standpoint of, oh, well, let's just hide behind racism. Or let's just hide behind injustice. Like, no. Like, stand on it for what it is, because you can't deny truth.
Right. Like,
the truth is the truth. It don't matter how you want to frame it up. It's still the truth. So that's how when I do my podcast, that was the thought process behind it. Stand on it, because anything I say, you know, I'm willing to sit down and have a conversation about anything with anyone who feels any type of way about anything I say, but everything I say is going to be based on truth.
Right. So my opinion, I feel like you should be a motivational speaker.
Word.
And do you feel like you'll in the future will aim for something like that, or be a activist or anything?
Yeah, I've done some motivational speaking in the past. But I do want to get into activism. And I was just telling Merv the other day, like the teacher that I had on my podcast this past Thursday, she asked me about doing some speaking events at their school, and then also potentially like lining up some community service events to help out with, because that's something I am passionate about. Not just about the kids. I'm very passionate about the kids because they, of course, are the future, but I'm just passionate about society as a whole, and I feel like humanity has taken a turn for the worse in the aspect of now it's not like, again, you everything got to be so PC. Watch what you say about this, don't offend this person, don't do that, you know. And I think that needs to change. And again, like I said, with all this racism that people are pushing, I don't agree with it. I took a lot of heat for that, you know, when I said I don't feel like racism exists. You know, I feel like races exist, but I don't feel like racism exists, and I stand on it. You know, I think we need to look at how we can unify each other, how we can build each other up, no matter if you black, white, brown, it doesn't matter. Like, we treat people as people, not as a color, you know.
Right.
So yeah, that's something that I do plan to get into, activism.
Yeah. So when can we look forward to this? What are you shooting for? What's your goal date?
I don't got a date on it.
No?
Because right now the way things have been operating with me in my life is when I'm motivated to do something now, I'm just acting on it. Like you know, there was a tragedy we dealt with in our hometown at a local school, and it moved me to write this little brief monologue about how I was feeling, and I got a lot of good feedback. People was like, yo, that was dope, like that's exactly what we needed to hear. So when it moves me, I don't know when it's time for me to go full-time activist, but with anything, you got to make sure that, number one, you're ready for everything that comes with that.
Right.
And number two, you've established yourself as a voice that people will understand and be like, I want to follow this person.
Right.
Because you can't go out here and be an activist if nobody wants to follow you. Like, you can't do that. So I got to keep working on myself, keep pushing my message. And if people saying you're genuine, because for a while, like, you know, people who knew me, I was kind of hot-headed. So and I wasn't really open to any type reason. It was my way or no way. So it takes a while for people to kind of see the growth in you, and that you change to where they'll let their walls down that they may have built up with you, or the walls that they may have put up based on what somebody else said. So yeah, that's what I'm working on too. Working on self.
So what is one core principle that you stand on no matter what? no matter what situation you in?
I got a couple, but the
top 3.
Loyalty. I just say that one. Loyalty. That's gotta be it, man. Like, you know, there's always gonna be something better. You know, you could see a brand new Ferrari come out today, but it's a new one coming out next year.
Right.
You could see a dream house built today, but it's gonna be a bigger dream next year. So when you loyal and when you like, okay, you looking at everything from all aspects, not just what your eyes are showing you, but what your spirit is telling you as well. That's major to me, like just that aspect of it. And then, you know, letting your word be your word.
Yeah. Cause
you know, that's really, and it's cliche, but that's really all you got. Like, you could tell people and you could show people you got money, but your word, when you say something with your word, like, yeah, like that's what it's gotta be. And
yeah, what was that line you spit? Loyalty, search the word first.
Yeah, like they screaming loyalty. They'll cross their man out like a word search. Screaming loyalty, my nigga, search the word first.
Yes.
You know, because you're not understanding what you just said. You just said a word. But if you really look back on your track record, are you really able to live up to that? You know? So, yeah.
So what's one motivational thing that you would say to the younger generation?
Boy. Be you. Be you. And that's the hardest thing that a kid could do right now, because it's a million things telling them what to be, you know. And boy, be you. Like, I tell kids, adults, just be you. You know what I mean? Because when you're being you, you can tell when somebody is being 100% authentic themselves. And that's when they gonna have the most success, you know. And no matter what, you gotta just focus on and look at. Cause I told this dude one time, he was like, yeah, man, like, you know, I think I'll get a little bit further and then I'll take a step back. And I told him, I was like, man, basically how you describe your life to me, when I think about your life, is you're riding down the road at 60 miles an hour and you just slam the car in reverse because you see somebody going by you the other direction that look, they're in a better car, they might have a better woman sitting on the side of them. You're focused on everything around you, so you adjust your life in a moment. Like, oh, they doing that, let me go do that. Oh, they doing, let me go do this, see if I get further. We see that with podcasting, music. If somebody sees somebody doing something, they'll change, think that's their formula. Like, that's their formula.
Yeah. Like,
you got to come up with your own formula. So, kids, be you. And I know it's a lot in society that, again, just, it makes it hard for you to do that. Music is the biggest one. That's impacting our kids. And that's why I want to try and make sure I always put a good message in my music, something that kids and adults can relate to. Yeah. Yes.
So, with that being said, can you tell people where they can find you, how they can get in contact if they want to do some consultations or want to be a part of what you have going on with all aspects of this?
Yeah. Online, IG IStheRealTruth at gmail.com. Also, you can get that for the email, send me some. But online, IG is at IStheRealTruth. You can also hit up Truth Is the Label on IG. That's Truth Is _ the label. And then we also have the I Say Podcast page. It's at I Say Podcast. So anyway, like that, you want to reach out. And my phone number is in my bio, so you can also call me. You know, we can sit down and talk and set it up. But I will say, man, just make sure you're real serious about. Because you can't get time back.
Right.
So it's a lot of things that I've allowed to waste my time in the past, sitting down talking to people and knowing that they're not serious in what they got going on. So so
Yes. Well, this is the Hot Mic series with CEO is the Real Truth.
Bam.
Again, I Say Podcast Network and Truth is the label, and we out.
chill.